chaka, ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga,
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Lips as sweet as candy.
All right, guys, here's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to, girls get together, and I need the guys get together. We're going to have a good old-fashioned guys versus girls kind of game, all right? So let's have girls over here on this side, guys over here on this side. Ma'am. Hey, Nadine, can you throw that back in the drawer? Thank you. All right, no. We're going to scoot this back here. All right, so guys, y'all go ahead and come back here. Mason, you guys, yeah, y'all got the right idea. Y'all are in the perfect spot. All right, girls, y'all scoot back here. All right, who was here last time we played Extreme Tic-Tac-Toe? So, Nadine remembers. Yeah. All right. So here in a second, can everybody see the projector screen? Everybody needs to get where they can see the screen. If you need to scoot over a little bit, you can do that. All right. We're going to show, everybody watch up here for a minute. We're going to show how this game is played. This is going to explain, hopefully, all of it for you, okay? So, Jace, whenever you're ready, you can play that.
Hold on. First got it.
All right, so the game's going to be fast-paced. It's going to be fun. We'll play a couple times. We may switch after the guys versus girls to a junior high versus senior high thing. So do you guys have any questions before we start? You're good? Hey, Esther, I need you to go back there with Mama, okay? I need you to go back there with Mama. All right, so let's do it like this. Y'all need to stand right by the Connect 4 thing. Don't come past it until it's your turn, okay? And then y'all don't come past that line. So there, that's perfect. All right? No. Once they pass you or walk by you, you're good. So y'all need to come back here. Don't come like around the chairs this way when you're done. Y'all get that? So hey, everybody listen. All right, once you put either the X or the O on the board, you need to run back as if you're going to tag your teammate's hand and didn't just run by them, okay? Once you run by them, that's when they can go. All right, we good? All right. Let's see. Good luck, guys. 3, 2, 1. Last roll. Hold on. I got you. I didn't I? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Remember, don't try to knock the board over. It's very fragile. It's very delicate, okay? Be gentle, please. All right, go. Oh. All right, guys, take the W, the first one. All right, we'll go one more time, guys versus girls at least. Eli, are you ready? Are you excited? Yeah, very. All right, Briar, you gonna take him down? All right, 3, 2, 1, go! Don't hurt the board. The board has feelings. Don't hurt them. Oh! Oh! Guys, take another W. All right, hey, last time. We'll do one more time, guys versus girls, all right? Let's get ready. Congratulations, guys. Girls, it's your time to shine. All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Y'all got this. Oh! Guys, take the third W. Good job. Good job. Good job. All right. You what? Okay. Yeah. Okay, this will be the very last of the guys versus girls, right? Somebody lost some tape. Do some? All right. All right. Hey, after this one, we'll switch to junior high versus senior high. You ready? You show them who's boss? Y'all gonna take the W this time? You're so, very confident. Right, remember, hey, the board has feelings. Please don't hurt them. Okay? Be very gentle. Go! Dibs, that was great. Woo. Let's go. Go. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, man. Hey, you were gentle. Attaboy. All right, guys, take the W. Was that 4 times? 4 times? All right. Hey, let's do this. Junior high over here. Senior high over here. Junior high, 7th through 9th. Senior high is 10th through 12th. All right. Yeah. We're just swapping junior high and senior high. Whichever side y'all want to go to. We have a few more senior high than junior high. Just a few. I know. Volleyball games tonight. Yeah. We gotta. You ready? You ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! That was mean. Come on. Oh! Junior high taking the win. Taking the win. The underdogs. I like it. All right. Let's do another. My favorite thing so far was when Tori called dibs. All right. Ready, go. Oh! Sure. Ooh! Ouch. Hey. Try that instead. All right. It's okay. It's okay. Y'all won the first one. You can take a loss. It's 1-1 now. It's not personal, man. It's not. Yeah, you did. You beat yourself. So who has not lost it all yet? I know. Nobody? Everybody's lost. Ha. Yeah. Oh, losers. We good? All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Ah! Taking the win. All right. So y'all are up 2-1. Let's make this a best 3 out of 5. Best 3 out of 5. Y'all are up 2-1. Three, 2, 1, go. Oh! Oh! Come on! That was not very good. All right, so we're tied, 2-2. Junior high taking that win. All right. We're going to see who's going to win and get all the bragging rights for the night. See, the bragging rights means you can rub it in your sibling's face, right? You look like you're ready. You ready for this? Mason, are you ready for this? I don't know if Harley is. Dude, it's your mini-me. All right. Ready, go! Camry! Oh, they take the win! Junior high with all the bragging rights. You can rub it in your brother or sister's face all night. All right? Do it. All right. Hey, guys, go ahead and grab a chair. We're going to get started for worship here in a minute. Hey, will y'all, you two, will y'all roll this over there? Thank you. That's a fun game. Tori, my favorite part of all of it was when you called dibs and just moved the other person's. Those respect the dibs. Have y'all ever watched How I Met Your Mother? Oh. Okay. Never mind then. All right. Hey, band, you guys come on up. Don't fall. Woo! All right, congrats, junior high. Good job. All right. 7th graders moving up. That's awesome. Sweet. All right. Hey, I'm going to pray. We're going to hand it off, and we're going to sing a few songs. God, we love you. Thank you for this great, awesome day. I pray for these students as they have started a new school year with a lot of craziness, with a lot of weirdness going on. I just pray that you would give them a boldness to speak your truth So, yeah, I'm so used to saying, okay, let's get our Bibles and turn to this, and now we're not, so I don't know what to say now. Hey, can y'all flip the lights on and do the left switch back there, please? All right, perfect. Thank you. You can grab one if you want. I'm just not going to do the whole thing, like raise your hand if you need a Bible, all that kind of stuff. All right, so we're going to start something new tonight. We're going to start a little series called God Never Said That, okay? You guys have probably heard a lot of Christian cliches over, especially I know most of you guys were raised in church. You've probably heard a lot of things that you're like, man, that may sound right, but I don't know if that's totally right. So I jotted a couple down. So one would be, God won't give me more than I can handle. Raise your hand if you've ever heard that before. Now, a lot of you guys have heard that. God won't give me more than I can handle. That's the one we're going to tackle tonight. You've probably heard heaven gained another angel. You've heard just ask Jesus into your heart. You've heard once saved, always saved. God just wants me to be happy. And you've heard probably the most common one of them all, just follow your heart, right? And now what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is we're going to act kind of like detectives, and we're going to go into the scriptures and see, okay, is this true? Some of them, I will just be honest, totally wrong, totally false. Some of them are like half-truths. So it's like a yes, but there's more. And then some of them are like, yeah, that's totally right. So that's what we're going to kind of do. God never said that. He may have never said things exactly this way, but he may have communicated some similar things is how we're going to go through all of them. And like I said, tonight we're going to look at the God won't give me more than I can handle. And as I was kind of reading through the scriptures and thinking through this, guys, it brought me back to this book that I read not too long ago, this biography of this guy named James Blake. And this guy was a professional tennis player really through the 2000s. Like went pro in 1999. I think his last match was in 2011. So he's done for now. But the guy went through a lot of difficulty. It really, his whole life, a lot in his career. So we've got him up here. I love his story because it's a story not only of his strength and perseverance, but it's a story of how he yields his strength and allows others to help him. So here's a little bit of what he went through. Growing up, he had like severe scoliosis, guys, like severe, to a point where he had to wear a back brace, okay, all day, even to a point where he had to sleep in this back brace, to a point where his father got him cinder blocks and put a plywood on top of the cinder blocks and put this little sheet on top of it, and that's what he slept on, because the medical professionals said that if you sleep on a very hard surface, it will help correct your scoliosis. Now, anybody have scoliosis? Yeah, you're like, man, I don't want it now. Yeah, so sleep on cinder blocks and plywood. There you go, Cameron. So he had to do that growing up, but he started setting himself apart in tennis as he, like, through high school became one of the best tennis players in the country. So he goes on not only to be one of the best tennis players as a teenager in the country, he goes on to play for Harvard. So he's playing in one of the top tennis conferences in college. He's going to one of these top academic schools in the world. So the guy's putting in work, right? And then he leaves Harvard after 2 years to go pro. And shortly after going pro, after winning his first tournament, he finds out that his father he's terminally ill with cancer and really only has a few months, maybe a year to live. So he's got that looming in the back of his head. And then not long after that, he's playing really just before tournament, practicing, and he's playing on a clay court, which can be really slippery. And he runs up to get a ball, and he's right by the net. And the net posts, y'all, you don't want to run into those things because they hurt. And he slips, he falls, and he slides into it and hits the back of his neck. Boom, neck broken. And he's lucky he's not paralyzed for the rest of his life. So he goes through however many months, up to a year, that has to heal. In his first tournament back, after letting all of that heal, he's finally back playing tennis that he's always loved to do. He finds out that his father passes away. The news that has been looming in the back of his mind for who knows how long. And it's shortly after that, when he's finally back playing again after taking a little leave to go be with his family, that he gets this really rare disease called, I think it's zosto. And it's this form of, if you've ever had the chicken pox and you go through a lot of stress, it can come back. And it was really like he had a stroke. His whole left side of his face and a lot of the left side of his body was paralyzed. So finally he was back. Everything seemed to be getting back to normal. He was healed from breaking his neck. He was starting to get over all the turmoil that he'd gone through with his family. But the stress of everything caused this old disease that he had when he was a child to flare up and hit this nerve and cause him to be paralyzed. And finally he says, I'm going to go to the doctor after trying to fight it for weeks. And the doctor tells him that the only way around this is rest. Only way around it is rest. You can't work your way out of this like you worked your way to be one of the greatest tennis players in the nation, like you worked your way to one of the top colleges in the world, like you worked your way to do everything that you did. You can't do that here. You have to let go and you have to rest. And he finally rests. And I love this story, especially when it comes to this in our spiritual life, because we are not self-sufficient. We live a life of dependency, guys. We have to lean on and depend on others. And really, the biggest one we lean on and depend on, we know, is God, right? And here's the truth that this story brought me back to. It's only when we recognize the dependency that we can truly flourish. And this guy fought back after finally he rested, fought back to being the number 4 tennis player in the world, beating world number 1s, winning tournaments, most exclusive tennis tournaments out there in the world after he finally rested. But he could not fight or work or will his way through the disease, through breaking his neck, through losing his father. He had to rest, right? He had to let go. And that's the way that we can look at the Christian life. We need to let God take care of some things that we can't always do, guys. And so here's our status update. If you guys want to do this, we haven't done this in forever. So we'll flip the lights off back there. If you got your phone and you want to throw this on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you want to put it on, here's what we're going to say tonight. So it's the different one. It's the one that says Matt Smethurst. Jace? There we go. Perfect. Thanks, man. All right, so the good news is not that God won't give us more than we can handle. It's that he won't give us more than he can handle, guys. And that's the way. That's the way that I want you, I want all of us to approach this. That it's not on our shoulders, that we have to do all the work, that we have to will and fight and work our way through this. We can hand it off to God, and he can handle it for us, guys. So that's the way we'll see it. Another one, if you go to the next slide, Jace, another thing that's really been looming in the back of my mind as I walk through this is if God didn't give you more than you could handle, you would not need God, right? So let's flip those lights back on. Thanks, man. All right, so you guys, what's your favorite subject in school? Someone tell me. Yeah. Why? So that's better. Okay, so math, science, what else we got? History, that's a good one. English, who said English? English, okay. English, English is just tough. Like, you put the comma here, not here. Okay, all right, so we got all this. Yeah, you can't say recess anymore. Now you got to say PE because you're not in elementary, right? Sad day. Lunch, food, unless you're eating the cafeteria food, right? There it is. All right. So you guys got all these crazy subjects. Some of y'all said you love math. Some of you said you love history. Some said science. Some said English. It's hard enough to speak, right? I'd rather take Spanish. Sorry about you. So let's say, guys, sports. Okay. So let's say you go, you have a test, you have a quiz, you know it's coming up. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to do doesn't mean you're actually going to do it, right? Study, right? Now, who's really good at being a diligent studier? Nobody. At least y'all are being honest. Okay, Harmony, Olivia's like, halfway. Okay. Now, who's the person in here? Just tell me, okay? You're not going to be arrogant or anything. Who's the person that's just like, man, I can just go to class and I can just take a test and it's fine? There's some of those people. Okay, a lot of those people. You know, my brother was that way, and I always despised my brother for that because I could just not do that. I always had to study. So let's say, okay, you've gone to class, you've done your studying, and you go and you take the test. What obviously do you want? An A, right? You want 100, doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but you did that. And you didn't necessarily have to go and pray to God, God, help me soak up all this information that I'm studying this test for, right? You did that. Now, there are little things like that that you can do. But y'all, there are a lot of things in life that you're going to have to say, God, I cannot do this. Now, if you really want to get let's get really deep and in-depth, yeah, we need God for everything. That's true. That's a reality. Like, you could not take a test without God because God gives you the air to breathe, all that kind of stuff. But there are things you can do a lot on your own, but there are things that you are going to need God for. So it brings us back to that thing that I said. If God did not give you more than you could handle, you would not need God. And because you have more than you can handle, who do you need? God, because you need someone stronger than you. You need someone more powerful than you. You need someone who will help you through it, right? And that's where God comes in. So here's how we're going to break this down. We'll kind of look at it in, we can say 3 points. One, we're going to say, look at the whole God won't give us more than we can handle. We'll look at some verses. Then we'll look at, the alternative. Okay, God won't give us more than he can handle. And lastly, we'll ask why. Okay, that's the big question that you're probably thinking, well, why would God give me more than I can handle? So is it even in the Bible? I saw this picture where it said it was in First Memes 777. Can you throw that up there, Jace, for me? So it said, God won't give you more than you can handle. It's in the book of First Memes 777, right? Now, is the book of First Memes in the Bible? No, right? But we can throw it in the let's say, Gen Z translation, right? Y'all want that Gen Z translation? You know, y'all remember Cool Carl when he did the whole Gen Z translation thing? He came out with a devotional where on one side of the page, it's like, normal Bible translation, and then on the other side, it's the Gen Z translation. And my favorite one that I heard today was where he said, he quotes the verse, and he talks about where, when I was a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child, I did live life like a child, but when I grew up, I gave up childish ways, now I live life like a man, right? He said, I was once a noob, but now I'm not a noob. Is that pretty simple? Gen Z version, right? So we could say that's part of the Gen Z Bible, but that's not the real Bible. So you can look from Genesis all the way to Revelation, and will you find this phrase? No, you won't. You will not find the words, God won't give you more than you can handle. Now, one verse that sometimes people may go to, and you may think, well, it sounds like God's kind of saying that, is 1 Corinthians 10:13, and it says that no temptation has come upon you except that which is common to humanity. So we know now where Paul's going with this. He's saying, okay, everyone's tempted. Everyone. No one's tempted maybe more than others. No one's tempted less than others. It's all common across all mankind. Everyone is tempted. But he keeps going. But God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you're able, but with the temptation, he will also provide a way out so that you may be able to bear it. Y'all, you know what I used to see a lot when I used to read that verse? I used to read, you are able, and you may be able to bear it. And I would always see that, okay, I'm able to run away from this sin. But that's like a half reading of this verse. I push out the rest of it, and I miss the fact that it says God is faithful. I miss the fact that it says God won't allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. So if it weren't for God standing in here with you and for you guys, you wouldn't have the way of escape. It's like, okay, we got 1, 2, 3, what's that? 4. Yeah, your favorite is math, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 4 exits here. Let's just ignore the garage doors, okay? So you got 4 exits. Now let's say you have this temptation that's just right in front of you. It's, I guess for you, it'd be up here somewhere, okay? For me, it's back there, okay? So let's pretend there's this temptation right in front of you. Now you have 4 exits. All of a sudden, all you can see is the temptation. You can't see the exits. You forget about them and you freeze. You don't know what to do. And if it weren't for God being faithful and showing you the way of escape, you would forget about it and you wouldn't see it. So you see, guys, how the verse isn't about your ability. It's about how God is faithful and provides the way of escape for you. So without God, you couldn't even do that. So the verse isn't so much about your ability as much as it is about God's faithfulness. So we'll flip it over now, and we'll say, okay, God won't give us more than he can handle. Okay, one verse that we can see here is Psalm 46:1. It says, God is our refuge and strength, a helper who is always found in times of trouble. So God's our refuge and our strength. Do you go on a great day when things are just fine and dandy, the best day of your life, and you're like, man, I need a refuge and I need strength? No, you're like, man, this is great. I don't need anything right now. You need refuge and you need strength. You need a helper when you are in trouble, when you're in over your head, when you can't climb your way out of the hole that you're in. Another verse is Isaiah 41:10. It says, do not fear, for I am with you. So God says, I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will hold on to you with my righteous right hand. Y'all, you can view this and think of it in the way of, man, I'm taught that I'm strong. I'm taught that I'm powerful. And I can will my way out of this trial, out of this difficult time. Because, y'all, you will go through trials and you will go through difficult times. And anyone who tells you that you will never go through a trial is not your friend and not being honest with you. You need to know how to get through the trials when they come, before they come, right? So it's not so much about what you can do or that the trials won't come. It's the fact that God is with you, right? He is there with you, walking with you through it. And he can help you through it, guys. One of my favorite is that Paul shows us where we are insufficient to get through things ourselves, where he owns it himself. In 2 Corinthians 1, 8 through 9, it says, we don't want you to be unaware, brothers and sisters, of our affliction that took place in Asia. We were completely overwhelmed beyond our strength. That's the part I want you to hear. We were completely overwhelmed. Everybody say overwhelmed. Now, does it sound like Paul's like, man, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I can get through it? Or is Paul saying I'm in over my head? I'm overwhelmed beyond my strength, so that we even despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt that we had received the sentence of death, so that we would not trust in ourselves, but in God who raises the dead. He says, I'm in over my head. I'm overwhelmed. I'm beyond my strength. So I don't trust in myself. He puts it clear to us, guys. I don't trust in myself, but in God. Because it's not me who can raise the dead. It's God who can raise the dead. It's not me who can work through this trial. It's God who can work through this trial. And you will be overwhelmed. You will be beyond yourself. So now let's ask the question, why? Why would God allow me to go through more than I could handle? That's the question. We know it's true now, but why? And we'll go back to Paul. So Paul, he tells us about this story about how he has this thorn in his side, okay, or thorn in his flesh that is really just mocking him, that's making life difficult, that's making life tough, and it's annoying, okay? Now, who's got a younger sibling in here? I know some of y'all, your younger siblings in here, right? Now, you love your younger siblings, right? If they're in here, you definitely say yeah. Now, have y'all ever been annoyed by a younger sibling? Yeah. Now let's say you younger siblings with your older siblings in the room. Have y'all ever been annoyed by your older sibling? Yes, you have, right? I am the youngest in my family. I have an older brother, and I was annoyed, okay? I get it. But I'm sure I can tell you a ton that he was annoyed by me way more than I was annoyed by him. Because you younger siblings, trust me, we have a gift. We have a gift to to be annoying. And I tell you, we are very annoying. So we could be maybe a thorn in the flesh. Maybe it was just this sickness that he was going through. You know, remember like the tennis player had all of these things going on in his life, felt like a thorn in the flesh. Maybe the dude had constant diarrhea. I don't know what the thorn in the flesh was, but it was not fun, okay? Just like we know, as you guys are laughing and you're grossed out, diarrhea is not fun. And you know it, right? You think it's fun. All right, so he's got this thorn in the flesh, and he starts asking God, hey, can you remove this from me? I don't like this. This is not fun. And here's how God responds. In 2 Corinthians 12, he says, but God said to me, God says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. So Paul goes on, therefore I will most gladly boast all the more about my weaknesses. Now, let's say you go to this self-help conference or you go to a motivational speaker. Is that motivational speaker going to typically tell you, y'all, boast in your weaknesses, own your weaknesses? Or is he going to tell you to own your strengths? Probably own your strengths, right? So you got Paul here saying, I'm going to boast in my weakness. Sounds a little weird. So he goes on, I will boast all the more about my weaknesses so now he gives us the reason, so that Christ's power, okay, so I'm weak, but Christ is strong. Christ's power may reside in me. So he's saying, okay, I can be strong, but my strength doesn't come from me. My strength doesn't come from going to the gym. My strength doesn't come from running mile after mile. My strength comes from from being weak and allowing Christ to be strong in me and through me. That's where genuine, true strength comes from. So he goes on, I take pleasure in my weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and in difficulties for the sake of Christ. And here's where it all culminates. For when I am weak, then I am, you guys know it, it's up on the screen, right? Strong. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Now, does that sound like something you're going to hear if you go read a self-help book or if you go to school when you're weak, when you're strong? Probably not. But that's the message of Scripture. That's the message of genuine, true strength, of getting through tough times. Because the message of our culture is not weakness, but strength, okay? Now, let's throw out a few superheroes, okay? Where are my comic book guys, superhero fans, all that? A few of y'all, okay? I never knew much about it. I read a little bit of it, okay? But then all the Marvel Cinematic Universe happened, and I was like, that's pretty cool, right? Thanos is mean, though. Kind of a jerk. So let's say, okay, a lot of people maybe have never heard of Steve Rogers, but if you know who Steve Rogers is, who have you heard of? Captain America, right? Now, everyone knows who Captain America is. My parents, who know nothing about any of that, could tell you who Captain America is. But if you went up to my mom or my dad and you said, hey, have you heard of Steve Rogers? They would be like, who's that? Like, is that the guy that I went to school with like 40 years ago? I don't know. Okay, maybe, just maybe, you've heard of Clark Kent. But who have you heard of? Superman, right? There's a more well-known one. I actually knew that when I had to look up the Captain America one because I didn't know it, right? Yeah. Maybe lost a few points with you guys there. Yeah, I did. So you may not have heard of Clark Kent, but you've heard of Superman, right? So we don't always like weakness, but we love and we relish strength, right? We love it. So we want to hear that, okay? I don't want to be dependent. We want to hear the message of you're strong, you're tough, you can do this. Find the power within you, and you'll get through it. But that's not the message that Jesus offers, because he knows that if that were the message he gave, we would ultimately fail time and time again. You guys have probably heard that phrase. Not probably, I know you have. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade, okay? Now, what are the 3 ingredients for lemonade? You need lemons, water, sugar. What's your favorite part of it? The sugar, right? Okay, now here's what I love about that phrase. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Okay, let's say you got lemons, you got water, but hey, nobody ever said you're getting sugar. When life gives you lemons, you can make lemon water. But when will life give you sugar? That's just assuming that life is going to give you something good as well. But life doesn't always give you something good. Because as you guys well know, maybe the family dynamics of your household aren't what you want them to be. Maybe you're fighting with family. Maybe you're fighting with mom and dad. Maybe you're fighting with your siblings. Struggling with where your parents are at. Life is not always as fine and dandy as we want it to be. You got a rocky relationship with a friend that you really need to work on those things with, right? Tough times are going to come. So you may get a lemon, but you won't always get the sugar. On the flip side, though, let's say all you get is the sugar and you get no lemon. Life is great. Life is wonderful. But when life is fine and dandy, when life is as good as it can be, do you guys ever notice how you don't turn to God as much? Do you guys ever notice how, like, man, this has been a great month. Life has been awesome, but I haven't read my Bible the whole time. I have not prayed once. I haven't been to church in I don't know how long, but life has been good. Because life has been good, I've forgotten how much I need God. So there's a danger to the flip side, too. I heard one guy say this. Here's the reality of life. You are either going into a difficult season in life, you are in the middle of a difficult season in life, or you're coming out of a difficult season in life. So let me ask you this, guys. Can you avoid a difficult season in life? No. And you're fooling yourself if you think you can. So here are the 3 reasons I want to offer to that question, why. Okay, 1 is we want to depend on God's presence. Depend on God's presence. Remember, guys, when you try to do it all on your own, you trust in yourself and you forget about God. But when you recognize that life is difficult, that life is tough, and you can't do it, you can rest on, you can lean on, you can depend on God. And what are you more aware of? His presence. So you can depend on God's presence. 2, you can experience God's power. When you realize how weak you are, you can realize how strong God is. But if you try to say, hey, I'm strong, I don't need you, God, you forget how powerful he is. And you don't realize how weak you truly are. And last is we want to introduce others to God's dependability. God is the most dependable person that we will ever find. More dependable than your mom or your dad, as difficult as that may be to believe, right? More dependable than your best friend, more dependable than your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Now, I know you probably feel like your boyfriend or girlfriend are not always very dependable. Like, let's just be honest. Maddie will probably tell you, I'm not the most dependable person in the world. And the more she gets to know me, the more she would say amen. Okay? But God will never make a promise and then be like, hey, I forgot, or hey, I just didn't want to do it. Okay, that's not the way he works, but that's the way we work, right? All the time, all the time. So in the gospel is where we see it the most. Because we were too weak to save ourselves from our sin, who did we need? Jesus, to die on the cross for our sins, right? And it's when we own our weakness that we can realize that we can depend on and rest in his strength on the cross. So that's where we see, when I am weak, then I am strong. So if we bring this back around to the guy I told you about, can you throw that picture back up there, Jace? This guy, James Blake, that went through a lot of difficulty in life. We've got this quote by him in the book I found that I read. Toward the end of the book, this is what he said about all of what he went through. He said, that was the first time when I really came to recognize the limits of my willpower and resolve. So the guy's trying to get through everything on his own, get past the death of his father. And the guy was only like 23, 24 years old when he went through all of this. He was young. So he lost his father, and he tried to just work his way past that and forget about it. He broke his neck, and he tried to work his way toward being healed. When you got to rest, right? Then he got that weird disease and was paralyzed and tried to will his way through it. When he was told that he had to rest, he had to not do anything, that's when he finally realized the limits of his willpower and resolve. So his is a story of really realizing his weakness. And when he finally realized his weakness and said, I just got to sit down and lay on the couch for a few months, right? That his body could finally recuperate. So when he was weak, then he was strong. And that's the physical part of life. It translates spiritually too. When we are weak, when we realize that we may not be able to do what we're trying to do, but God can, then we can be strong when he helps us through it. So guys, my question in all of this is, what weakness do you need to own? Because everyone in here may have a different thing that you're going through, and I know you're going through something. I'm going through something, I can tell you. Maddie's going through something. Hey, little 2-year-old Esther's going through something, right? You're all going through something. Yeah, hers may be a little not as intense as yours, right? She just may have not gotten her goldfish when she wanted them. Yeah. No, so sad. Yeah. She got in trouble and lost her Elsa dress for a day. Oh. All right. It's a trial, guys, I'm telling you. Yeah. It's too far. You listen to a toddler cry because they lost their Elsa dress. So, guys, you're going through something. I get it. Definitely more than losing your Elsa dress or not getting your goldfish at the right time. But you're going through something. And you may be trying to get through it on your own, in your own strength and your own ability. And the only thing you can do is do exactly what this guy did and come to recognize the limits of your willpower and your resolve and say, God, I need your help. I'm going to give this over to you, and I'm going to ask you to carry me through this because I can't do this on my own. What is that for you? What do you need to do to give that over to him? I'm going to challenge you to do that tonight or over this next week. We'll invite the band up and we'll pray and we'll sing one last song. God, we come to you now and I want to lift these students up to you and just really ask that they would be honest with themselves. They would be honest with their lives, where they are at, and not try to fight or will or try to power their way through the difficulty or the trial that they are going through in their life right now. But they would say, God, this is over my head. God, this is too much for me. God, I'm not strong enough for this, but I know you are. And that they would say, God, I'm weak, but you're strong. And I give this over to you so that when I'm weak, then I can be strong. I pray that over each one of them tonight and over this next week, God. I pray in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Let's stand, guys.